Hi guys, we're heading along the Adventure Way. We're hoping you'll join us. The Adventure Way is not just a road, a single road headed to Inaminka. Adventure Way's got lots of loops and bypasses and places to go and see and things to do. So we'll probably be doing it in a couple of parts, but we're hoping that you'll join us and follow us. The result will be to get to the dig tree where Burke and Wills had their last sort of moments along the Cooper Creek there. So we're pretty interested to go and see those, you know, the dig tree and their grave, their previous graves and stuff like that. So that should be a good end to our Adventure Way. So yeah, hope you guys will join us.
Don't forget, hit that subscribe, give us a like, and give that notification bell a bit of a rub.
Just missed them, but we've had to pull up suddenly, come around a corner and herd of cows sitting on the road. Got to be so careful on these roads.
Out here in the middle of Whoop Whoop, they've obviously found oil. They're found in quite a few of these oil refineries and lots of mining, oil drilling wells and stuff like that. Some of these roads can be pretty rough and rugged. The road down to the dig tree actually is quite rough, but yeah, check this out. Someone didn't get very far with that one. Okay, so we arrived at the dig tree. It's $20 per car to enter. That includes your camping, etc. It's for conservation purposes. And see what's in the information hut. This is the campsite at the dig tree. And the morning is just about to erupt. The campsites are right on the river of Cooper Creek, famous for the Burke and Wills failed expedition. Hassling mum or dad there for some dinner. Feed me. There we go. Oh, look at that. Imagine them. Bray packing up his depot camp, deciding that there was going to be no return of Burke, Wills and King, that they'd probably perished. It had been 4 months and 5 days. They would have been packing up all their supplies and Bray writing the words, famous words, dig in the tree, carving them out, packing the little supplies that were left before they headed off. And then on the very same day, Burke, Wills and King stumbled into the same area, same site, same tree, were able to get the message and dig up the few supplies that were left, and then decide what was going to happen, how they were going to get back to civilization now that there was no party here to help them, and they were by this time tired and hungry and depleted of all the vital minerals and elements that you need to be strong and healthy to be able to endure these kind of outback trips. It's just an amazing story to me, and a lot of courage, even though they weren't successful and they perished along this Cooper Creek further down towards Inaminka. Still a mighty, courageous thing to do, to explore Australia way back then in the 1860s. We're heading off to see King's last place now. So this is the place where King was found. He was being taken care of by the local Aboriginals and had been there in their care for a few months. He was lucky to survive, and only really survived because they'd taken him in and felt sorry for him and taken care of him. He also gave evidence at the Commission of Inquiry and was awarded a gold watch and the sum of money that gave him £180 a year to live off. He did marry, but only didn't really truly recover and had died only 11 years later at the age of 33. Another mystery that surrounds King was that it's said in the local people there, passed down verbally through their tribes, that he had a child, a girl. So for poor old Wills, who must have been a brilliant navigator, and it got them all the way to the Gulf of Carpentaria and then back to the Dig Tree. An amazing feat and must have been a very clever man. Anyway, Burke had decided that they were going to go off to Mount Hopeless, and Wills really wasn't fit for that trip. And by the time they decided to turn back, he was pretty much done for. And he asked those two men to leave him behind and died there in that spot. And we're here now at the final destination of our journey on the Adventure Way, and that's to see the final resting place of Burke. So when Burke got back to the Dig Tree, he did make a fatal decision. He obviously felt quite angry that the depot party had left, even though they'd remained longer than the 4 months as agreed by the two men. And Mount Hopeless was a 241 kilometre trip away, and all the three men that were left plus their animals were very emancipated already, so it was really a hopeless expedition to try that. Anyway, they had to turn back after some attempt, and Wills died along the way. King stayed with Burke, and they were found further along the track there, where Burke had spent his last moments. King had remained loyal to Burke that whole time, and in Burke's last scrawled notes, he did note that King had behaved nobly, and I hope he will be properly cared for. In that last note also, he did write that, "I hope we shall be done justice by. We fulfilled our tasks, but we were abandoned." And of course that became then the Commission of Inquiry and their findings in the expedition and the mistakes that had been making in that. One of the sad things about Burke that sort of drew me into the story when I first read it was he did actually have an infatuation with a young girl called Julia Matthews, and she was an actress travelling around the country, and he'd gone to many of her shows and had actually asked her to marry him twice. And before he left on his expedition, he was still so infatuated that he included her in his will and had left all his belongings and that to her. And in the final days before he passed away, he did change that will and gave the monies that he was owed, etc., to his sister, Meanwhile, young Julia obviously did have some feelings for Burke because she had written a letter to him concerned that he hadn't returned and that no one could find him and didn't know where he was. And unfortunately, that letter never arrived to Burke. So a little bit of sadness for Burke there. Anyway, that's the end of the Burke and Wills story for us. We've come to the end of the Adventure Way. We're at the final location, which is the original site of Burke's grave. It was a pretty exciting adventure. We started in Ninden Gully, travelled all the way along the Adventure Way. We did a few loops off the Adventure Way to other places that are exciting and great to see.
Don't forget to give us a like, thumbs up. Don't forget that subscribe button up here and the notification bell.
This is what we really look like.
Bloody finance.